Last weekend I went out to my local theater and I checked out Violent Night. I was actually a little excited to see this movie. I thought the trailer looked fun because it was nice to see a very self-aware trailer, just knowing what it is, just kind of being so over the top. It's hysterical. I thought the trailer really played this movie quite well. And just to see David Harbour as Santa Claus, killing a bunch of people, what more can you ask for in a film? The movie wasn't exactly that to me. It was that for the third act. The third act was everything I wanted throughout the whole entire movie. And the first two acts kind of took itself a little too seriously because, of course, it's like people compared it to Die Hard. It is a lot like Die Hard and Home Alone. It kind of took the self-seriousness of like Die Hard and try to mix it in with the silliness of Home Alone, and it didn't always mesh for me, but it did mesh very well in the third act. Of course, the first two acts kind of felt like it was just meandering. It felt like we were cutting from the scene of David Harbour kind of improvising to intense plot. It cut back to a scene with David Harbour maybe improvising on a set to intense plot to, oh, David Harbour is now randomly killing someone. Sometimes it just felt like they didn't necessarily know what to do with David Harbour Santa Claus, and they just like film into the camera and they're like, David Harbour, just do what you do best. Go. And then, he goes to the liquor cabinet and gags like that, which is, it was funny to watch. I enjoyed watching it. It's just, I was there to see David Harbour as Santa Claus beat up a bunch of people. And so to see him meander for the first maybe act and a half of this movie, and then we finally get to the carnage Santa that I wanted, then it was satisfying to watch. And I'm not saying that it had to be carnage the whole entire time. If it started out and we had the first act of build up and the last two acts were Santa Carnage, that would have been fine. It's just I felt like we took a little too long for this kind of movie to get to that, because based off what I saw at the movie, it's very self-aware. It is very self-aware. It didn't lean into it the way that I wanted it to. The action sequences to this movie were fine. I mean, there were jaw-dropping moments where you laugh at how over the top or how silly something is, and I had fun with that. Knowing that this is a 87 North film, the films that they put out films like Bullet Train, Nobody, the John Wick films, comparing it to that, it didn't necessarily do much for me, but it is still fun action in a Santa Claus Christmas movie. And even though I was a little disappointed, and I'm not going to give this a very high score at all, to be quite honest with you, I guarantee you I'm going to watch this next Christmas and maybe the Christmas after, because I think I'm going to buy this one on disc, because even though it slightly disappointed me, I feel like it's a movie that can be a lot better on a rewatch because it does lean into that Christmas spirit. This is, even though as I advocate for to see movies in the theater, I feel like this is a good at-home film. Like I said, still see this film in the theaters while it's in theaters, but I feel like it's going to be a nice film to rewatch next year as the Christmas fire's going and you're watching Santa kill a bunch of people on screen. It's just a very fun background movie. I think it's a perfect background movie for the holidays, for the type of people who just want to see Santa kill people. Sitting down and watching it from beginning to end won't be my kind of cup of tea for this film, but I guarantee I'm going to watch it again. That's the biggest praise I can give this. This is going to have a great rewatchability factor over the next coming holidays, and it could be a Christmas classic in the future. Did I love the movie personally? No. Do I respect it for what it was and what I think it accomplished as a holiday film? Yes. Do I love David Harbour as Santa Claus? Yes. Did I love the action? Kinda. Did I love the pacing and the plotting of everything? Not really. There's a lot of stereotypical characters in here, and we spent a lot of time with this family that I just really didn't care for nor have any investment in. There is a little girl here that is quite entertaining, and I know people hyped up this Home Alone sequence that she has, and it is quite funny and maybe one of the best parts of the movie. But I'll just say my favorite scene of the film, I'm not going to say the specific scene because I don't want to reveal too much away, but I'll say the clip, part of the trailer that is part of that scene, and that's where David Harbour says in the trailer, I don't remember if it was in the movie or not, it's time for some season's beatings. That scene in that garage, it's cinema at its finest. That scene alone deserves all the Oscars for this. But yeah, overall, I had kind of fun with it, and I'm not necessarily in love with it, but I could love it as a holiday film. But as a film itself, as someone who feels like I need to criticize, but as watching it as a film enthusiast This wasn't the best movie in the world, but like I said, I can see this being a classic for Christmases to come. But I want to give, as of right now, Violent Night a 5.6 out of 10. It's an enjoyable movie. When I always say that 5.5 is just like my standard for a very enjoyable movie, but I know it's bad. And so I give it a little bit above that. Yeah, anyways, I did enjoy this movie. Comment down below what you guys thought. I know I am actually more on the negative side compared to most critics, but this is definitely a movie I will watch many more times just as Christmas fun. So, yeah, like, share, subscribe, and stuff like that, and adios.